Seeker, Sadhguru, I have a phobia, a fear of disease, and run away. Rather, I am repulsed by diseased people, sick people. This is quite a hindrance for my growth, isn't it? Sadhguru, nobody wants disease, of course. Nobody would choose to be diseased, isn't it? Nobody wants to be ill, everybody wants to be healthy. It's okay, but at the same time, you must understand that once you have a body, illness, old age and death are natural processes of life. You are not choosing to be ill, but you know that once you have a physical body, illness may happen at any moment. Alright, you take care to see that you're not ill, but if you became excessively concerned about illness or health, that itself becomes an illness. Just trying to avoid illness is an illness. Illness restricts you. That's why you do not like it, isn't it? Why you do not like illness is that in some way, it's going to restrict your life, but just the fear of illness also restricts your life and maybe your lifespan too, isn't it? It's an illness by itself. This is not just you, there are so many people who have this fear. Especially once they cross 40, 45, their fear of illness becomes huge. When they were young, they did not think so, because they thought they were immortal. Until they are 40 or 45, they are immortal, isn't it? Only after that the fact that you are mortal comes to you. Your fear is not of illness. Your fear is of death. Illness is the passage. You know, illness is the first step towards death. So the fundamental fear is always of death. Now you're still not addressing death directly, but you're addressing illness, because you know. If illness comes, the other will follow. Generally, in social situations, people have been telling you, convincing you, that after all, fear of death is natural. The problem is whatever the majority is doing, people say it is natural. If the majority of people were smoking cigarettes, people would say, smoking is a natural thing. Yes or no? Certain groups of people, even now they say so. What's wrong with smoking? It's just natural. A human being is not made to smoke. You're not an automobile or something. It's not natural for you to smoke. But people will make it natural. So the fear of death has been made natural by social situations, but it's not so. Fear of death has come because of a certain sense of ignorance and unawareness. It's not natural. Maybe the majority has ascribed to it, but it's not a natural process to fear death. If life happens, the natural process is death. Being afraid of a natural process is unnatural. Isn't it? The fear of death comes simply because you're not in touch with reality. The fear of death has come to you because you've gotten deeply identified with this body. Your identification with this body has become so strong because you have not explored other dimensions. If you had explored other dimensions of experience, if you had established yourselves in other dimensions of experience, the body would not be such a big issue, but now your whole experience of life is limited to this body. No matter what kind of teachings other people give you, this is me, isn't it? It doesn't matter if somebody tells you, you are not the body, somebody tells you. You are Atma, whatever nonsense they teach you, in your experience, this is you. Whatever Gitas they may read to you, your experience is limited to the physical body. The fear of losing it is natural, but if you reach other dimensions of experience, if you establish yourself in other dimensions of experience, the body will become an easy thing to handle. Life or death will not make so much of a difference. Life or death is only in terms of what you are doing. For example, you started a project. It's only in terms of whether you'll be able to complete your project or not before you die. That is all it is for me, at least. Right now, I have a project on my hands. Whether it's going to be completed or not, whether I should start the next project or am I going to shed the body before it is complete, that is all my calculation about death. My calculation of death is only in terms of, okay, for the people involved, can we do this for them within this time frame or not? That's all. The question of shedding the body is not a big issue, because if your experience of life is established beyond the physical body, it's a very simple affair. When you want to change your clothes, you change them, isn't it? Or if you do not like them, you throw them away and walk naked. It's up to you, both are possible. Once, when I was in the 9th standard of school, this girl, my classmate, during the Dussehra holidays, died of pneumonia. This just left me wondering, where could she have gone? Somebody who was just about my age died. How could someone just disappear like that? The way I was made, my nature was such that I would explore everything that came my way. Even on my way to school, I would at least climb up half a dozen big trees, look at the eggs in the birds' nests, eat the fruit on the tree. Only then would I finally reach school. I just wanted to explore anything and everything that came my way. Now this death, I just had to see for myself, so I acquired 98 Gardinal sodium tablets from my father's medicine cupboard, as he was a physician. In preparation for death, I distributed all my property to my friends. My property was a lot of small things, my prized catapults, which were most difficult to part with because I held them very high and valuable and did not allow anybody to even touch them, my pet birds, the pet turtle that I released into the local Kukrahali water tank, the pet cobra which I released on the Chamundi Hills. You see, I had a whole zoo going on the terrace of my house. I also gave away all my money, about 112 rupees in those days, a fortune for a young boy of my age, which I had earned through my self-employment as a snake catcher from house gardens, college and institution grounds. All of them I released on the Chamundi Hills. I distributed all these and one fine day told all my friends that today I was going to die. They thought this was one more joke. That night, I refused to take my supper and on an empty stomach, took all these tablets and went to bed. I wanted to know what would happen. After 3 days, I woke up in a hospital bed. Everybody was anxious as to why I resorted to this step because until the last moment, I was that boisterous, crazy boy who was going around, doing all kinds of strange things. Even if my father scolded me or sent me out of the house, I just waited for that, and then I would just go away for a trek into the forest for a few days. That's how it was with me. If I had to find out something, it did not matter what was the price. About dying also, I never thought I was going to lose something, that I had to look into my parents' eyes one last time, nothing. I just took the tablets, closed my eyes, and slept. The only heartache of this whole episode was that I could not get back all my possessions. Half the money I did get back after a lot of threatening and fist fights. When you're wanting to know something is so intense that you're willing to die for it, then knowing is not far away. So now you know what kind of crazy man you are with. When life and death make no difference for you, nothing is needed anymore. When life and death make a lot of difference, only for that fool there are so many problems. For someone who does not differentiate between life and death, there is no problem, he can live with a lot less limitations. Once this body has run its course, it will go anyway, whether you like it or you do not like it. Whether you approve or disapprove, it will happen. As long as you retain your body, taking good care of it is definitely your business. Isn't it? Now if you are paranoid about ill health or death, you will not take good care of it. In your anxiety, you will destroy the body. The very anxiety that says, what may happen? What may happen to this body, will destroy the body. Now this fear of illness, even on seeing a dead body people are terrified. Is that so with many of you? Just by seeing a dead body you are terrified. Every day people die, alright. I am not saying it's a small thing for the people who love them, for people who care for them. For them it is a big thing. I understand. But why are you afraid just seeing a dead body? Living bodies are dangerous. They can do many things to you. What will a dead body do to you? A dead body is the safest thing, but you're afraid of it. Just look at this, living people are capable of so many things. They can put up very good pretenses, but tomorrow they may kill you, they may do something else to you, they may do anything. Dead bodies are so safe, but still people are afraid of them. When I was about 14 or 15, I spent an enormous amount of time in the cemeteries in Mysore. Something, somehow, drew me there. I would go and sit in the cemetery the whole night. People would set fire to their relatives' bodies, which would go on burning. It's a long affair, you know. They don't have the patience to wait, so they wait for half an hour or 1 hour and then leave. I was the one attending to all those dead bodies. Somebody's head falls off, I would pick it up and put it back in the fire. Why I'm telling you this is because it's good to expose yourself to death. It's very good. I know that in your homes they have told you, you should not even utter the word death, because they have a stupid hope that you don't utter the word, it will not enter your house. Do you think that if the word death is not in your vocabulary, it will not come to you? I would like you to practice death. If you are willing, tomorrow evening we will set up a situation where you can consciously practice death. Are you willing, Indu? If every day, or at least for a few times in your life, you practice death consciously, then you will see that it is not the way you think it is. It's very different from what you have known. Death exists only for ignorant people. If you are in awareness, there is no such thing as death. The process of yoga is all rooted in death. In fact, you will become spiritual only if you start facing death. If you think of God, you will not become spiritual, you will invent stories. If you think of God, you will seek more survival and well-being and prosperity. Isn't it? Why are you thinking of God? Because you think He is easy currency for well-being, yes or no? Thinking of God is not spirituality, it's just another desperate attempt to live well somehow. Only when you are confronted with death, you start looking, okay, beyond this body, what the hell is there? What is beyond the physical body is what we are referring to as spiritual. Your ideas of God are not spirituality, they are just another tool for survival. Only when you truly start seeking what is beyond the physical body, the spiritual processes open up for you. Everything that we have been doing here from day one is just that, to somehow give you an experience that is beyond the limitations of the physical body, but every time something new comes up, fear and resistance is what you see within yourself. That's why the process is so slow. If you had just given yourself to me, many wonderful, liberating things could have happened to you. Right now, you want to go very cautiously. You don't want to step into anything that you don't know. At the same time, you want to know new things. There is no way. You are just defeating yourself all the time. You don't want to step into anything new without knowing it. How will you know it if you do not step into it? There is no way to know it unless you step into it, but you're not willing to step into it unless you know it. You tell me what it is, only if I know I will step in. Every day, just spend 5 minutes reminding yourself that you are mortal and today you may die. It is possible that today you might fall dead, isn't it? Just remind yourself, wonderful things will happen to you. Have you heard of Gurdjieff? Gurdjieff was a wonderful master, but he was known as a rascal saint, a rascal, but a saint. His methods were so drastic, he did crazy things, terrible things with people. So Gurdjieff gave a solution to the world. He said, if you want to have the whole world enlightened, we must plant a new organ in everyone's body. Every day, twice a day, this organ will remind you, you will also die. Every day, twice a day, it reminds you. That is what the Shunya meditation that you are initiated into is. It's not implanted, you have to make it happen. Every day, if you sit for meditation, you will see, everything that is you will die. The fear of death is not in the body, I want you to understand. The fear of death is in your personality. You, as a person, are going to die. That's the problem. Suppose you have grown old and God offers you a deal, okay, you give me this old body. I will give you a new body, won't you take it? You will, won't you? So the body is not really the problem. The problem is that based on this body you have created a personality. That's what you are really attached to. When you sit in Shunya meditation, do you see that your personality has dissolved and just a certain presence is there? Like this, every day, twice a day, you die consciously. The personality is dissolved. Just the presence is there. This will release you from everything. This happened to me. A few years ago, I was in Bangalore city and I went to the vegetable market, just taking a walk. I like walking through vegetable markets. So I'm just walking there, talking to the vegetables. Why? Purnima? Why do you look so shocked? You think I am only capable of talking to your kind? Suddenly, I see this one vegetable vendor who is all bright and lit up. I can't believe a man this is selling vegetables. I look at him, and instantly our eyes lock and I laugh and he also starts laughing. I could not believe this man is selling vegetables. Then I went to him and we started talking. I asked, how come you are here selling vegetables, a man like you? He said, no, I am doing my work here. I said, what do you do? We were just bantering. In his life, he was selling vegetables, just a plain vegetable seller. Then one day he became ill. He became so ill, he thought he was going to die. For over 4 months, he remained so ill that every day he thought, today I'm going to die. He went through this process of, anyway, I am going to die for 4 months, and then he recovered. Then, something wonderful happened to him. He got enlightened, I am telling you. So he says, anybody who comes to my shop, I bless them to have a long illness. I said, that's great. But if people ever come to know, you've had it. He blesses every customer who comes to him. Let them have a long enlightening illness. Whatever it is, illness, death, calamity, anything that happens around you, you can either use it to liberate yourself or you can use it to entangle yourself. Especially these calamities, illness and death, are a tremendous opportunity to look beyond the limitations of what you normally understand as life. Isn't it? You thought that getting up in the morning, having a coffee, having breakfast, going to work, doing this, again eating, doing that, throwing yourself around on everybody and coming back in the evening, you thought this was life. If one day you're bedridden, suddenly you see, life seems to be something else, something very different from what you thought it was, isn't it? This need not happen to you. If you're intelligent, do learn from other people's experiences. Everything in the world need not happen to you, you must learn from other people's experiences. You have heard about Gautama, isn't it? He just saw one sick man, one old man and one dead body, and he realized that any day, this could happen to him. There is no point in running away from it. Let us look at it and see. If somebody is ill, I want you to sit with them and see that this could have been you and could be you any day. The most horrible illness that somebody has, we do not want it and we are not wishing for it, you could get it any day. It doesn't matter whether you are 18 or 80, it could be you today or tomorrow, isn't it? It's important to face everything with a stable and balanced mind. Avoiding it is not the solution. If you avoid it, you only get entangled. So do not avoid illness or death. Face them. See that it could be you. Remind yourself. Tomorrow we will put you through an experience. But you must allow it to happen. If you are constantly resisting, it will not happen. It's a very subtle, simple process that can happen easily if you are willing. Seeker, Sadhguru, you are saying you can make us experience death? Sadhguru, I am walking death in so many ways. Guru means death. Do not take death in the negative connotation. It is the death of the limited, always, because only the limited can die. Can the unlimited die? So Guru means death of the limited. In his presence it is always like death. Why you are uncomfortable, but at the same time you want to be there is because you know he is death, and on another level you know he is liberation. Still, there is not enough maturity to come to terms with it. So my presence always influences the death meditation simply because all the time, my very energies are like that. To release you from the limited or the physical.